Right, Jackie?
Oh, it's the urban planning kit.
Exactly.
Okay, so you need one of those kits.
Yes.
Okay. And let me just see if this is the one.
When you're ready. Go.
Hey everybody, good afternoon. My name is Jackie G and welcome to Art Talk Tuesday. For those of you that haven't joined before, this is something that we do weekly where we connect with all of you just to say hi and to showcase either new product or something that's going on in the industry and to talk about all kinds of stuff that you may or may not be familiar with. In case you don't know us, we're with Gwartzman's Art Supplies here in Toronto, and we've been in art materials for over 50 years, and we love showing you all the things that are available. If you're ever in the downtown area, please stop in and say hi. Our building is over 100 years old, and we've been here over 75. Our floors still creak. We've got great posters on the ceiling, which I'm always looking up, just in case you haven't seen them. Every once in a while, I take you on a tour just to show you what's new. And again, with all of these chats, I like to show you some things that are new and exciting. If you have any questions while I'm talking, just type them in, and Hannah will do her best to let me know what you're asking about. And of course, you can follow up with us afterward if you have any questions or comments or anything else that you need to know. I'm going to wave and say hi because I'm really not good at this otherwise, and I'm looking at a camera, so I wouldn't know if you're waving now. So hello to everyone across Canada, United States, and beyond.
Singapore, Turkey.
Oh, Singapore, Turkey. Oh my goodness. Wow. Now I'm really, if I start to blush, you'll know why. Thank you very much for tuning in. So I always try and do something that's a little bit different. And today I am talking about matte paint. Matte is a huge trend that's been coming on for the past, I'd say, over a year now that I've seen the progression. All kinds of interesting things have been happening with matte product. So I picked a selection of items that we have that are matte. As I say, I'm not showing any mediums that can make your products matte. That's something that's a totally different topic that we'll explore at another time. If you have questions about papers, I didn't pull any papers that you can use with some of these products. But of course, it is something that we can talk about, or if you have a question while I'm speaking about, I can certainly let you know what papers are really good to work with them. So as I say, this has been a trend. For a long time, gloss was always what we knew. Everything was related to gloss. And gloss is still very popular, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm very drawn to anything that's got a glossy finish. There are fantastic mediums to do a glossy finish. But we've often got asked for mediums that would tone down the shine. And there are really good ones, but of course a lot of times you'll find with a matte medium, it has a film, so it doesn't really make your product look that fantastic matte. So that new progression, which is matte product. Now I will tell you, matte has been around for a long time in certain products that you may not have thought about. So, for instance, gouache. Gouache is a matte watercolor. And for a lot of us, and I remember many years ago, for those of you that were in the design industry, Pelican gouache was probably the most popular product. It was an opaque, and they used a lot of it for color theory. So it's been around a long time. Illustrators use it, they use it in advertising. And in fact, I was looking up the history of gouache. It is hundreds of years old. So it's not even a recent product. I love looking at the illuminated paintings that are done in some of the museums. They were done with gouache. Some gouache, as I say, is over, 200, 300, 400 years old. It goes back a long, long time. So again, I wanted to show you some of the things that we can start with. And I did pull out a medium because, as I say, sometimes I just want to get you thinking about outside the box, and I will focus on mediums another day. If you're ever looking for something interesting for either your paintings or for photographs, or you want to tone down your high shines, you should look at either the Gamblin cold wax or the Dorlan's cold wax. Now that I could do a whole talk about. I've always thought them to be fascinating products. I don't think a lot of artists use it or look at it. It's very, very cool. And there's a lot of things that you can do with it if you're thinking of something that's a little bit different. Now, I'll open it actually because I want to show you. They're both similar or the same in how they look. And it's just a paste. It's a very cool paste. It's just soft and creamy. And it's great because you can use it to tone things down. You can use it to make a shine if you want, but my focus is really how to tone it down, how to get that matte. So we'll start from this side, the left, and just point out all these wonderful products that I can tell you all these brands make that are matte. So for those of us that are familiar with gouache will know Winsor & Newton, which has been around for hundreds of years, have been making their gouache for over 100 years. And so this is just a set, just to show you. They still have it available. This is their primary set, so it gives you everything that you need, and so you can mix all the different colors that you want. There is a full line of color, but they're not the only ones now. It's great to see that you can go to different brands and get the same idea from a different company. So that's Winsor & Newton. Now, of course, I'm going to do a whole chat afterward and tell you about this wonderful product that is exclusive to us from Japan called Nicker. Now, they do make a designer's gouache and they make a poster color, but we can actually, maybe I am going to do that now. I'm changing it up a little bit. So I am really excited because we represent Nicker Paints, which is from Japan, and they do have a very, very long history in the design industry in Japan. For anybody who is fans of the Studio Ghibli, which I know many of you are, or fans of Japanese paintings, you will look and you will find the Nicker name. They have a long history. Kind of quiet, I think. They're very well known in Japan, but I think quiet internationally. So they do make, which we now stock, they make a beautiful designer's gouache. And as I say, they're very well known in Japan for their designer's gouache. They also make a poster color. So if you're looking for something in a poster color, which is also what we have here, these paints were used in making all the backgrounds for the Studio Ghibli in the original movies. So anybody who watches any of those movies, their original, the go-to, what they did before they got to film, they used the poster color. I did a whole chat about that. We'll be doing it again. You can also see information on these on our YouTube and also on our IGTV, and we send out email blasts and all that kinds of stuff. But we can certainly follow it up again if you have questions. So they also do make a designer's gouache, which we now have in sets currently. We'll probably be looking into open stock for the future. So that is Nicker, and Nicker again is from Japan, continuing with Japanese products. We also stock all of the Holbein. So this one happens to be a line that Holbein came out with, which is their Japanese colors, names that you will not see from any other brand. So all kinds of Japanese tones. Now, I did not pick, I should say that these sets are divided into the seasons. I didn't pick winter because I think we've all had enough of winter. This is spring, so hence why I picked it. All these gorgeous colors that make us think of spring. And so this is a set. They do come individually, so it gives you a chance to pick all the different colors. And then I also wanted to show you, again, these are some of the standard colors that they make and the beautiful selection that they offer in metallics. And metallics also in gouache, think about it, that beautiful opaque color that you could put down on your paper or your cardstock. It really is a beautiful product. And again, there are so many shades that you just really can't go wrong. So don't forget, the difference with, and I should mention, gouache goes down solid. When you're using your traditional watercolor, it's transparent, which means that when you put it down on your paper, you see your paper through it. When you put down gouache or acrylic gouache or any of the items on the table, you're covering it. You're putting down a solid color. So I say it is a trend that we're seeing just to get that really solid color down. Doesn't mean you can't use both on the same painting. Gouache is not permanent, so you can reconstitute it. You can keep working with it if you want, just like your watercolor. So there's another brand, again, working with the Japanese. Now, we're going to be going into something else that I wanted to show you, but sticking just with the gouache. This is made by Stoneground. A lot of our watercolor companies are now starting to come out with their own versions of gouache. So this is made by Stoneground. Any of you that are familiar with Stoneground watercolors, which are transparent, they've now come out with some gouache sets and open stock gouache. So Stoneground is from Regina, Saskatchewan. For any of you that still don't know that we have these amazing products made in Canada, this is made by Stoneground. Also from Beam. Beam, also made in Canada. Those of you that aren't familiar, that we stock all of the Beam products. Here, I'll just hold that up. From Manitoulin Island. Really get to know Beam products. She makes a beautiful gouache, has lovely color names to it. They only come in sets. We don't stock those in open stock. But again, Canadian made. So there you've got two Canadian companies that make gouache. Now, actually, before I go into all of the other acrylic gouache and things like that, I just wanted to show we do stock sets by Holbein. I mean, if you're looking just to get started and see what it's like, this happens to be 18. We have small sets, we have larger sets, but this will give you an idea that you can test it out. We do have some less expensive ones. Royal Talons makes a lovely set. We have a really, actually I should have pulled one of those out and I didn't. Royal Talons makes a really nice set of gouache too. If you're looking for something really to get started, see what it's like, play with it. It's under $20, so it really is affordable that you can play with something that really is kind of cool. So I'm going to move that over. Now I wanted to show you this too because we posted an amazing video by Angelus. We had a huge response to it. Now this is leather paint. So anybody, and these days everybody is looking to, we're looking to revamp what we have. And this is a cool way if you want to paint on your shoes, on your leather jackets, anything like that. So I did check. Angelus, it doesn't go down completely matte. It doesn't have a high shine, but it is something where you could put it down. And if you wanted to make matte, they do have, different products that you can add if you want to tone it down even more. But again, it's all related because it is something that you can still use. We're thinking here paper and canvas and everything else. Here's for leather, shoes, canvas shoes, anything like that. And you should check out the video if you haven't watched it. It's amazing. It's a pair of Timberlands that they painted with Angelus. Looks really cool. Now, getting into other mediums that are still matte and related, but not exactly the same. I'll start with Flashe. For those of you that are familiar with the Lefranc Bourgeois Flashe, this is a vinyl emulsion. Now, I did print out something just so I could read it. Now, we did have a demo on it about a year ago. It's probably time to tell you more about it. So, they don't exactly call it an acrylic. It's made to go on so many different surfaces, including canvas or cardstock or plastics. So it is really versatile. I pulled, 3 or 6 colors just to show you the variety that they make. Because I do believe, although all these products are matte, you can still get vibrant. You can still get that vibrant color that will show off what you're doing. And I have seen a lot of amazing work. There's a lot of artists online who use Flashe. I would certainly check it out if you're not familiar with it, just to see what they do. This is also great not only to use on its own, but it's cool that you could incorporate it with your other work. So you could put this down on your surface and then paint on top of it. You could actually put oil paint on top of it as well. But it's really, really quite versatile. We stock them in tubes, in jars. Check it out. Very interesting product. We had so many requests for it when we were thinking of bringing it in, and the response has been amazing. So, as I say, something that's a little bit different, but again, related to whatever you might be doing. Then, of course, companies that are making acrylic gouache. So acrylic gouache is different than your regular gouache. because acrylic gouache has some of the polymer that your acrylics use without being an actual acrylic. So we're not touching acrylics today at all. We're just talking about things that are similar to all the matte products that are around. So Liquitex, and this is a set just to show you that this is only, there's probably about 40 colors that they make, and to show you some of the fluorescents that are available, because fluorescent is still big. So they've come out with an acrylic gouache, and acrylic gouache means that when you put it down in your paper, it's going to be water resistant. It means that you can move it around, but it doesn't mean you can't put down acrylic gouache and then put gouache on top of it. So you do this as your base layer and then put your gouache, because the gouache you can still move around a little bit. Of course, we also can show you, you see, you can get it also by Golden. Golden makes this amazing line. They have such great videos. In fact, I'll show you their printout. Hannah, do you want me to lift it? Okay, so I'll show you this great sheet. They have a online, and we can certainly get it to you if you're interested in. That's one thing about Golden, which is great. They've got these 2 sheets of product information. So just to tell you, I mean, not only their videos, which show you how flat it goes down, but this is artist quality. So it is a series paint, not like all, well, a lot of these are seried, but it is a more expensive line, but the finish is really quite beautiful. And of course, they've got these pages of just product information, which is great to tell you everything that you can do with it and think about it. As well, Holbein also makes acrylic gouache, and we have it all. This happens to be a set again. I've pulled out again a few tubes just to show you what it looks like, but the colors are just so beautiful. I mean, I love showing them. You can get all the traditional stuff, but you know, turquoises and pinks, all the things that you only imagine that you really want to see in something that's bright and shiny, looks amazing in the matte and the flat. So something to consider. So I just thought this would be, oh, and of course I have to show you, because if you're going to use some amazing paint, which all of these are, and we're still focusing this year on all things that we are producing, because I'm really quite proud of the manufacturers that we work with. So these are our brand of brushes. This is the Gwartzman's line, and we make them in round, filbert, flat. These flats are beautiful. We've had so many artists who love them. They go up to 4 inches wide, and they can be used for acrylic or for watercolor. We've actually had artists use them for varnishing as well. Well priced, and the quality is amazing.
Went out, so I'm just gonna unplug it.
Okay.
How's that now, guys? Can you say something?
Okay, can you hear me okay now? I'm sorry about that.
It's just died on us.
You know, this is live, so anything can happen.
It's true.
We're still checking to see. Let Hannah know if everything is all right, and then we can. Okay, I apologize for that, but you know what? I always say that's what can happen with live. You never know who's going to walk in. Something's going to be a glitch with the camera or any of our system. We are not professional, but this is just so much fun. So again, if you have any questions about it, let us know. I look forward to next week when I can talk about something new or something interesting. If you ever have something that you want me to talk about, let me know. I'd love to hear from you, and I do look forward to it. Anyways, I want to just thank you again for tuning in. Thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Until then, have a great week, and please keep on creating. Bye-bye for now.